Hi everyone, Mature Simmer here. Going ahead and I'm going to try to put the second layer of fertilization on. I still have not sprayed for weeds, so just been challenging to get on at all, and just desperately trying to salvage what I can from this crop. So get ourselves loaded up, and the hope is, at least if I can't get the herbicide sprayed before it harvests, that'll have less of a hit than not fertilizing. So I'm going to go ahead and get that done, because obviously that's I think like a 30% or 25% yield, and that's going to be bigger than whatever the weeds might be. Alright. Again, doesn't mean I don't want to do that, but let me go from the other side, because it seems to work better. Because the other thing that I was trying to recall when I planted, but I came and checked late last night when I couldn't really get in and do anything, but at least could get information, is, yeah, there's only 4 growth stages in oats. It's pretty fast. So I don't have as many days to get to this as I thought I did. So let's see. That'll get us there. So we'll get spraying here. This will certainly help. Alright, I'm not going to be able to go very long, but at least I can for a bit, and then more importantly, I've at least got a line set that I'm running against. So, as I say, I think I can back out a little bit more. But let me start drifting over this way, because otherwise I'll hit the tree. So yeah, I need some synchronization on the server, but it's early enough. Usually if I'm within, 5-10 minutes, I'll go ahead and sync up, but I was like 45 minutes or something, and so I'm just going to try to be a little closer to the time. And I certainly will try. I think I can fertilize and spray like once the day's gone by. I think just the day not moving makes it impossible to do a second layer of fertilizer on the day of planting. But I don't think there's anything, because I think I have fertilized and weeded the same day. So if I'm able to do that, I may try it, because this shouldn't take too terribly long to spray. I don't remember exactly, but I want to say I might be able to get it done in an hour on the field. But it's going to take as long as it takes, right? Alright, so one pass done. So in the interim, Field 1 has actually come up for auction again. So, see if anybody bids on it. There's been some chatter, but it's $4.5 million, so I'm not quite sure I believe it until I see it, right? Oh, that's when I drove across the field. I'm like, how do I have tracks like out here already? But that was from when I drove to start fertilizing at that end. So it's possible I'll have a bit at that end left that I'll have to touch up on the fertilizer, but just get myself going, and then we'll just take a look at the end. But yeah, Field 1 is available for auction. That's going to run for a couple more days. So it's been, I think, less than 12 hours that it's been out there. They usually run for, I think, 48 or so. And then, obviously as people bid, as I think I've shared sometimes, as a bid is placed, it bumps the time out a little bit. I think it's just a few minutes, but if suddenly people were actively bidding, you could move the time a bit, quite a bit. But at that level, and usually at most server auctions, equipment is different, but land tends to be 1 or 2 bids, and then it's done. People don't tend to get into bidding wars over land. There's usually conversations ahead of time. Not really required, it just kind of is what tends to happen. So, but there's not been a whole lot occurring other than that. It's been, as you might imagine, pretty quiet. Haven't taken a look at the status of my pigs, but it's only been a couple days, but I'll certainly take a look when I turn around. So we'll get that changed up, or get that information. Not really anything changed. Struggling to be entertaining today. I don't know. Just have something to chat about. So now I went too far. I don't understand the other end. I'm like, is it taking me to the next row? Did I somehow get too far? And it wasn't. I just kind of forget sometimes how wide the spray swath is. Alright, so here we are on the pig pen. Good on food. We do have pigs that can be sold, however. So put that on my mental checklist of things to get done. Alright. So yeah, definitely always one of those things, as I mentioned, like doing this without GPS would be miserable, frankly, because there's no way you could drive straight. There's no way you can see what's happening with the density of the oats, and you'd be then going back and forth to the map and likely constantly touching things up or wasting so much of the fertilizer, because you'd be being conservative and you'd just be too far over all the time, and so you'd do multiple passes. So the consumables would be going, I don't know, I'm like, is the middle spraying? Interesting, it doesn't appear to be. I hope I'm not getting a stripe of some sort. Oh boy, oh, this is not good. How did that happen? Oh wait, it is 33. Never mind. Well, now I probably, created stupid batches. I thought it was... I got messed up with, the Amazon, which is 42. Let's see. Alright, I'm going to have to turn off the weeds, because I can't see that. Alright, well, I do have those little pieces. I don't know that it's worth it. Alright, yeah, and even at the end, or at the piece I was worried, there's just a tiny fraction, so because I just realized, looking at the map, I forgot I also need the lime. Oy. So little time, so much to do. Alright, so clearly I've got several things I can take care of. I'm short on witty repartee to share with you. So If either one of those things comes up, I'm working on the next job, or suddenly decide, hey, I do have something to chat about, and that I could make it more entertaining other than you just watching a tractor drift down the field, I'll be back. So I'll see you in a bit. Fertilization is done. I'm back here now, turning the weeds gray, as you can see. So withering is happening, so we should be good. Not quite sure why we have some of those blue lines showing up the way they are, but they are doing that. So yeah, it's one of those things is, again, you're out in the field, I'm out doing the work and just kind of doing it and thinking about things. But yeah, it occurred to me, like, I will again not be able to get on the server at all again tomorrow. So basically, if I don't finish, I run the severe risk of not being able to do it before harvest is ready to go. So I'm trying, doing what I can. I think I can get the herbicide done before I need to step away, and then the question is, can I get back on later and get the lime done? And the benefit of the lime is, obviously, I only have to do it once every 3 years, which, as this cycle here works, the way I'm working the fields, means really once every 6 years on at least a portion of the field. So while there may be lime work, because obviously the southern end is not showing up with that need this year, it does not mean that it's extra time. I mean, I have to do it more times than once every 6 years as far as the count, but with the work time and the way it operates, obviously it takes X amount of time to do those acres, and none of that changes. I mean, I'm only doing half of it, so it's still, ultimately, and it arrives to once every 3 years. So again, attempting to do what I need to do to make the farm productive, again, because we were at an angle. We have a good bit of overlap here on this end, as you can see, not quite half, but a good segment. I'm a bit better lined up here than I was with the fertilizer. I miss little spots here and there. I think it's just the nature of things, and I'm not sure that there's a net gain of more than 5 to 10 liters if I went and touched everything up. So just doing it as quickly as I can, as thoroughly as I can, but understanding there may be a little bit of a miss here and there as I do things. But gonna go ahead, and it took about an hour, maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit more. I don't remember exactly when I started. Time sync has happened, by the way, so the time obviously moved some just for that. So it didn't progress simply because of the work. But that's where I'm at, and I'll see you in a bit. Herbicide is done. Time to get to the lime, and then we'll be all caught up. Oops. Didn't connect things because I can't unfold. There we go. Everything's working now. We've got hoses connected and so forth. Same type of thing. I'll head on over to the far end here. Obviously the biggest trick, aside from, wow, it's having a hard time getting going up here, is lime gets consumed very, very quickly. So we're obviously going to see how that works. I should be okay to just stay on the snapped line here. Obviously a lot of this lime is going to fly off the field and not be very useful. But that always happens at one point. Obviously the field isn't straight, which I think would be common for most fields in the world. But yeah, I mean, looking straight on, you know, aiming my tractor. I don't see anything. There's a possibility. I think there is a tree toward the end that is a little closer. Maybe I'll hit the arm there, but I don't think so. So, I'm getting close, and I think I'm just barely going to get by. But we're already at 10%. Obviously, just one trip down. Yeah, we'll get by okay here. This is the one. It's a little bit closer, this bigger one, and even that was still cleared, but as you can see, we're barely liming anywhere that we really want to be. So there's our mainly wasted pass. It's probably half and half, honestly, if we're thinking about it, because it was pretty well covered at the beginning, and then very little at the end, but it was probably pretty close. And obviously this width is not nearly as wide as the sprayer. It's probably half that. So I'm going to have more passes here. Again, we can kind of see the tracks as I drove out, but does not appear to have any crop destruction. Not that I'm not expecting things to appear, but let me just make sure. I gotta get rid of the weeds again, and might even need to get rid of the fertilizer. Can I not lime now? I don't understand. I thought you could lime at any point. This is really not taking? Well, that is terrible. Goodness, I guess not. Well, that's different, because I'm nearly 100% certain that in FS19 we could lime as long as the crops weren't done, so that was not on my list of things to worry about. Well, on the one hand it saves me time, on another it obviously is a crop impact I wasn't expecting to have, so I'll have to keep that in mind when it pops up next time, and obviously in between here I'll have to get this field done at some point. Well, that's a disappointment, because I think that is like a 15%. At this point, I've done everything I can. I guess let me run over to the field. Yeah, so it is showing 100% fertilized, but the yield bonus is typically in the 90s. So I don't know what that might be. I'm just wondering if maybe the weeds didn't take either, but I don't know. I mean, I guess I've done what I can, and I'm going to get what I'm going to get off this field. So that's all, and I will see you next time.